His name is Stephen Arujo, speaking on communication 181.2.
Very good. And
Bill
we have
44.
Okay, we have one testifier here in Kona as well. We'll start in Hilo. Please call the testifier forward. To let you know, you will have 3 minutes. I will ask you to please summarize at 2.5 minutes. You'll have 30 seconds left to summarize, and at 3 minutes, I will ask you to stop. Thank you very much. You may state your name for the record, and you may begin.
Press the red button, please.
Right.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the Committee on Environmental Management. I am Stephen Arouge, and I'd like to testify on the ordinance amending Chapter 20, Article 4, Section 20-47 of the Hawaii County Code relating to the collection of fees. I'm testifying this afternoon in total opposition of the entire amendment. The reason that I am testifying against this amendment is I believe that the reason that this was created was because a lot of the fees weren't collected. There are those of us that are in good standing with the County of Hawaii. We are up to date on all of our solid waste bills. And you know, this bill lumps us all in the category of being delinquent. With that in mind, I was wondering if this bill could be killed, and you know, that other I guess payments that are delinquent to the county could be paid to the county without having the rest of us being put in the same category as those that are delinquent. Also, I noticed that there's another draft for this the same proposal. I also oppose this draft for the same reasons, and also some of the wording in the draft. One of the things that is very disheartening is that I learned about this amendment to these to this law through the Hawaii Tribune Herald, and I talked to several of the haulers, none of which know anything about what is happening here. So I was wondering if this Environmental Management Commission would look at maybe postponing this further, and maybe sitting down with the haulers and the members of the Department of Environmental Management,
Please
and maybe
summarize.
we could work something out. Okay, thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you, Mr. Arouge. And we actually do not have a testifier here in Kona. Is there anybody else wishing to testify at any of the locations? Seeing and hearing none, the statements from the public portion is now closed. Moving on to referrals. Madam Clerk, would you please read in Communication 181, Bill 44.
Communication 181, Bill 44, amends Chapter 20, Article 4, Section 20-47 of the Hawaii County Code 1983, 2005 edition as amended, relating to collection of fees. From Councilmember Zendo Kern, dated March 5, 2013, the bill establishes new payment methods for commercial haulers and reduces the grace period before which a finance charge is implemented from 60 days to 30 days for all overdue collections of solid waste fees. Postponed March 27, 2013. Postponed April 8, 2013. Note there is a pending motion made by Mr. Onishi and seconded by Mr. Kanuha to refer Bill 44, Communication 181, to the Director of the Department of Environmental Management and the Environmental Management Commission for review and comment pursuant to Hawaii County Code Section 2-207, and a motion made by Ms. Ford and seconded by Mr. Yoshimoto to amend Bill 44 with the contents of Communication 181.2.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Just so for point of clarification, we'll be starting off on the pending motion to amend by Ms. Ford. At this point in time, I'd like to relinquish my chair to my Vice Chair, Mr. Kanuha.
Thank you. Let it be known that I have assumed the chair, and we'll begin with Mr. Kern.
Sure. Thank you. Well, we do have to take care of this amendment on the floor. I'm not sure if we got to take care of this before I get into some of my other discussion. I do have an amendment that I'm ready to or want to make, but I actually want to hold off on this for a second. And what I'm doing is I'm going to set up a meeting to speak with the haulers in East Hawaii and set up a meeting and speak with them in West Hawaii. My staff right now is putting those meetings together. They're calling all of the haulers on the list that work with DEM, excuse me, in the county. And at that point in time, we'll come back and actually move forward with maybe a little bit of compromise. I want to maybe extend out. I believe everything, the intent of what I want to do here is very good, and I think it needs to be done. But I also know it's going to put it might put a certain amount of burden on folks that haven't necessarily been delinquent. But I want to maybe what I'm looking at doing, this is what I want to talk story with them about, is expanding the collateral. Might be able to expand the collateral, just different ways to collateralize things on equipment, etc., and not necessarily have it be cash. So that's just an idea. I want to gather more information, talk about it, and figure it out. I want to make sure it's very clear, too, that this bill is not intended to say all haulers are delinquent or not taking care of their business. I think a lot of them are. The challenge is we just don't know what's going to happen in the future, and I think we need to protect the interest of the taxpayers here of Hawaii County, and that's what this does. Again, it doesn't collect the past due fees. It just stops us from getting in the rears again, and that's the true intent. So I want to sit down, talk story, and do that. So what I'd prefer to do is I'd like to postpone and bring this back up another time, but I'll wait to that to see what if there's any other discussion from my fellow council members. Thank you.
Mr. Onishi.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I did get phone calls from private haulers from East Hawaii and was told that they were never involved in this discussion. So it's great that you are going to be contacting them, because I think you need to talk to them too, because they did have some issues. And like, Mr. Arujo did mention that, in one way we're punishing the people who pay on time, who's I guess, committed to doing their job, but then also to the counties and so forth. And it should be just targeted at certain maybe groups or whatever. But yeah, that's where you guys can work it on it. Yeah, and thank you for the postponement. Thank you.
Ms. Ford.
Thank you. When we get to the postponement, I'll be supporting it. But I would like to just comment a little bit. I'm generally in support of doing something, whether it's Zendo's version or Brenda's version or some merged version thereof. We've got to do something. However, I have to go back to where I think the difference lies in philosophy. I come from a different environment, as I explained before. I won't go into that, where the only people that I believe that should be paying a security deposit or collateral, however you want to call it, should be only those who are delinquent and those who continue to be delinquent. I don't believe that whether the business is small or large, if their credit is good and they pay in a timely way, that they should have the penalty of a security or deposit or collateral. That's just my own personal philosophy. So I think we have to look at this and balance it. Are we going to treat everybody identically? Or are we going to treat those who are not paying in a timely manner differently from everybody else? The second thing is that we have to look at is, are we going to collect one time up front, treating everybody identically, so that we, when they first come to the county and say, I want to haul and dump in the landfills, are we going to say, put down your security deposit, your collateral, whatever it is, and then you can go for it? Or are we going to say, you can start up your business and and since they have no credit, maybe we should be collecting from a brand new business right away. That's something we had not discussed the last time. But I still believe that if they have 12 months of continuously timely payments, that they should get that interest or not interest, deposit or collateral returned to them unless they misbehave in the future. So I think we need to decide as a council, not today necessarily, but as in the future when we discuss this again. I have to agree with Mr. Onishi. We need to define which philosophy are we going to support on each one of those issues. And then once we define the philosophy that we as a group agree to, then we make an amendment that follows that philosophy and has what we need in it. Because, of course, I think mine is just wonderful, and Zindo thinks his is wonderful, and I'm sure there's something in the middle that would work. And that's what I would like to support. But I think we need to figure out what our group philosophy is before we try to do another amendment. I see yours here. I'm not knocking it. I can see it's a merged version. That's fine. But we've got to do something about this. So that's all I want to say. And when the postponement comes up, I'll support it. Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Ford. Mr. Ilagan.
Thank you, Chair. I have a question for Mr. Araujo. Is Mr. Araujo still there?
He's coming forward.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Araujo. Is it Mr. Araujo or Araujo?
Yeah, Mr. Araujo. But you can call me Steven. Call me Steven.
Hey, Steven, how you doing? I wanted to ask you, and I just wanted your clarification. You're a commercial hauler, right?
Right. Yes.
How many trucks do you have?
Presently one. I own and operate the business by myself.
Okay. So what I was trying to find out was, I was worried about the small haulers, the small businesses. And one of the things that concerns me is that one of the reasons large haulers are in certain areas is because it's profitable, and they need to have, they need to concentrate on those areas, and where the small haulers provide a service where the large haulers can't really get to. It's kind of like a niche, and what I'm worried about would be placing burden for the small businesses. And I just wanted to ask you this clarification. How many small haulers do you think that's in the system right now?
Oh, I would think anywhere between 10 to 15.
And in Puna, 10?
On the Hilo side that I know of, I think it would be about 10 to 15.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Rouge, or Stephen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ilagan. Was there any Miss Willie?
All laws are meant to either encourage what we consider good behavior or discourage what we consider bad behavior. And I just am looking forward to the extent that we can do things in a way that is, the carrots and not the sticks. That's great. But I think here, maybe in terms of when you're seeing philosophy, how can we bring something together that incorporates both of those, encouragement and discouragement? And just in terms of the haulers, also encouraging people into a business where there isn't a feeling of discouraging them, or what do I have to do if I want to try to do this business, and promoting the little guy and the young guy, where it's something that it doesn't take a bunch of letters after your name to do, and it's really important in the community. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Willie. I think at this time I'd like to entertain a motion to postpone to the call of the chair. Or if you want to say something else.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to say something else, and I believe we should take care of the amendment that's currently on, so we get back to the main motion, and then postpone just the main motion, and I believe that we're going to be able to come together with a compromise here. But before I do that, this is what I'm getting from our parliamentarian as to doing the right thing. But first off, I knew that the discussion was going to come up, and I knew at some point that the haulers were going to get involved. But it was my bad that I didn't get with them and talk story more with them before it came to our level. So I just want to apologize to them and say that no offense, think you guys are great, appreciate the service that they do, and I'm looking forward to talking story with them. So the way I understand it, we are supposed to vote on the current amendment that's sitting on the floor right now, and then back to the main motion.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Onishi.
Thank you. I would suggest that we just postpone this, and you go through your meetings, and then you can come back with your amendments. And then Ms. Ford will have hers to amend.
Right now there's a motion to amend with Ms. Ford's amendment on the floor.
Well, maybe she could withdraw. Well,
yeah, I'm just seeing if Ms. Ford would entertain a motion to withdraw. Just withdraw. And then we can, Ms. Ford.
Thank you. I'll withdraw communication 181.2 at this time.
Okay, it's been withdrawn. You don't need a second by Mr. Yoshimoto. Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Curran.
I'd like to move to postpone Bill 44 to June 4th.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to postpone Bill 44 to June 4th. All those in favor? Or is there, sorry, discussion?
Well, I just want to make sure is that, just echo what Ms. Ford mentioned was that, maybe for new haulers, because of like what Ms. Beck had mentioned, that sometimes with these guys who are not paying, they change names and so forth, and so that could be something where you could look at. But just to add on.
Thank you, Mr. Onishi. Any other discussion on the postponement? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This bill has been postponed.
Mr. Chair, move to adjourn.
Second. It's been moved to adjourn by Mr. Kern, seconded by Mr. Yoshimoto. All in favor? Aye. And opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.